Alright, well, wasn't going to do a video because we will be heading to the track tomorrow afternoon, and we will be ripping this badass, one-of-a-kind, fully upgraded, fully modified from the frickin' chassis up Techno NT 48.3 race truck. I just finished putting some stickers on. I'm waiting. I ordered another sheet of Techno, so that's why this is the only spot I left it open. I think I'm going to do this like my other body, which my other body was kind of a challenge. By the way, welcome all Muggy Maniacs, Chuggy Maniacs, Buggy Maniacs, yeah, Monster Truck Maniacs, if that floats your boat, and you don't mind pull starts and rotor starts, then have at it. Not on my channel, sorry, but it is Nitro. And welcome all 5th scale Insaniacs. So I look around on YouTube and there's not a lot going on. Conversations here and there. Some people doing videos of their projects. Some people just a lot of yip yapping and no brip rapping, as some people will say. Not that you guys notice I've been cutting back my videos to at least once or twice a week. I'm just real busy. I got a lot of stuff going on, but here we are. A day probably before I actually was going to do a video. I'm going to do the Techno like I did on this here, on the, I don't know, I call it my God of War body. Link, Legend of Zelda. But anyway, if you could see, that was a little tough because you got to heat up the sticker, which I do recommend. If you want your stickers, just be careful to stick better when you do bodies. If you do your own bodies, then heat up the stickers a little bit. But that, I'm going to do the same. I think I got the same color, I'm not sure. But I'm going to do a Techno sticker just like that on the side of this body. But other than that, it's got a few stickers here and there. I love stickers. I just don't like to do too many. And this body is so freaking sick looking that I don't want to cover up a lot of it. Some of you guys have seen this. It's pretty cool. I didn't even know. I got to find out who did this, the paint job. For this guy, I'm probably going to get another couple bodies like this. Definitely want to get one for my Techno Buggy body. But yeah, I also forgot I even had these, man. These are brand new. Look, they've never been used. Still got the fuzzy gridirons. Red, I'm not sure if these are the soft, medium, compound, or whatever they call them. I'd have to look up what that is. But anyway, it's a brand new set of Chuggy race tires, and these are mounted on Prolines. I don't know what kind of Proline rims they are. But what I do like about the AKA tires is their foams are like superior to Prolines. J Concepts, I don't know if I've ever ran their foams, but this is the red foams in here. So, but anyway, they're brand new, and they will be ripping up the track tomorrow. We will be hitting the track. So some of you guys might not, though you probably won't see the track footage probably till later this week. That's why I figured I'd do a video tonight, kind of give you guys a heads up what I'm doing. Also, I want to I get a lot of questions on this engine. There was a lot of controversy on it. Some people have told me that it's a keep-off block and Adam Drake switched the head on it or something. So I don't know how true that is. He never really responded to me exactly. A lot of those guys kind of get funny when you start talking about engines that were designed for them. We are going to open this up for the first time. I did hear him say, and I talked to Jeremy Quartz, which those of you that don't know or know, Jeremy Quartz was a past professional world champion, I believe. He's won a few worlds. Top driver for many, many years, a while back. I talked to him when I got that works engine, and he was telling me a lot of how it works when you're a team driver, and companies like Nova OC and OS and Reds, they do specific engines for those guys. So they do a little few tweaks, and I think I told you guys in that one video, Jeremy Course was saying how he opened up the engines, you know, did a few tweaks on them, polished them out, so I don't know if they're able to do that. But anyway, the big thing is they seal these engines up. I heard Adam talk about it. If you guys see that right there, that red, that's like a rivet. So you can't open up the back, and I guess when just in case if a driver has an engine, he leaves, the company that made the engine, and this one obviously Novorossy, doesn't want them to see the inside, or, you know, take it to another engine manufacturer and copy, whatever. Like I said, when it comes to stuff like that, these guys are, you know, it's like taboo. But anyway, figure since Novorossy's not around anymore, I don't think Adam Drake really cares. It's my engine, so I can do what I want with it, and I'm not going to hurt the integrity or whatever you want to call it for Novorossy, because they're no longer around. But I want to see, this is an action, this isn't, now whether it is this engine, whether it's just a whatever engine and the heads changed, the main point of me even getting this was because, one, this engine was ran by Adam Drake. So even if other people have this engine, first of all, I haven't ever seen one besides mine autographed by Adam and Rhonda. Adam and Rhonda both signed this engine and the box. I think I've got some other kind of weird paperwork. I think I should put this in a frame, because this is, I think it's Novorossy when they run. It's a, it says Reporto Test in Pista. Oh, that's Italian. Track test report. Like, I've never seen one of these. I don't know if you can get another one. Everybody tells me you should frame that shit, because I've never seen one, but it's not filled out. It probably would have been even cooler if Adam had it filled out, but it's just, I guess, one of the things when you want to report back to them how the engine was and everything. But anyway, to get back to this engine, whether this is a 100% full bred, or I don't know if that's a word to call it, full bred Novorossy Drake engine. The point of it is, this engine was ran by Adam. So one, I've never seen anybody with this engine, with his and Rhonda and Adam's autograph on it, which makes it worth more to me, the value of it. And I don't know anybody that has one of these engines that was ran by Adam. This was ran at 2016 Silk Cross. Okay, that's more than likely Adam's writing, or his mechanic, whoever his mechanic is. But anyway, we're going to get into this engine. We're going to pull it apart. I want to see what the internals look like and why they would even put a rivet in it and seal it. Why they wouldn't want anybody to look in this. What is so special, or is it just a regular engine? Because if it was just a regular engine, they didn't do anything to it, why would they do that? Why would they make it so you can't open it up? That's what I want to know. So, we'll find out in a minute, but we'll get into that. But anyway, we're going to rip this thing. Also, I want to touch on, this is kind of like a update / wrenching video. I don't do a lot of these videos. One thing I want to touch on briefly, it's probably a 30-minute video. I'm not going to make it real long. If you see this video, if you're watching this video, that means that there's a running video of me bashing, crashing, thrashing, just like I did with the Techno buggy. Now we're going to do the same thing with a Chuggy. We are going to run the Reds, modified Reds R5R Team Edition. I mean, this is not a Team Edition, but R5R RCR modded Reds in it. We're also going to run, I might change the pipe, because this right here is a lot of bottom and mid. I might put more of a top end pipe on it. I should run my 9901 Super Strong with a 41021, but this is not a stock engine, so I don't know. I might want to tone the power down a little bit, because I have a feeling this thing is going to be getting busy and be all over that track. Especially when, again, this thing isn't set up for racing. This is bash setup. I might adjust the shocks, lighten up the dampening on the shocks, but that's about it. It's got 120,000 fluid, 120K in the middle, 60 or 65 on my Chuggy's front and rear. So this thing is definitely going to hook up. I don't know. I'm thinking if I should put Badlands on it so it could hook up. It might just do it. Because I talked to them today, the guys at the track. They said it's that track they watered. It's okay after they water it, but then it starts to loosen up. And then once it dries up, it's a loose track. It's not known other than right after they water it for a real gritty track. Revelations track is a real loose track. It's not high bite, as you guys seen when I ran it. So I'm not going to try to set everything up, and because I'm not going to run all the time. I just want to prove my point once again that you can take a truck or a buggy, 8-scale nitro, that's set up for bashing, and if you learn how to drive it on a track, you can drive it. Now, do I recommend it for racing? Well, obviously not. I would be stupid to say that. Nobody would do that has any brains in their head. Okay, but it's just to prove my point, because a lot of people will say, oh, well, you can't bash with a modified engine, or, you can't have a bash set up in a race kit and run it on the track, and you're going to be, yeah, I was all over the place. I guarantee you, if I stayed out there all day long for hours, I could pull off some, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to qualify for no A main, or I probably won't even qualify for the B main, but I will be able to get it around the track in a timely manner, hit some triples, and it's all about your driving skills. If you can learn to adapt to the vehicle, to the conditions, and so forth, you can drive anything on anything. I believe that 90, 80, I'd say let's see 75%, because I'm not a professional racer, but 75% is the driver. 25% of it is the car. But it all depends. Sometimes people need a better whip to compensate for their shitty driving. But there's guys that doesn't matter what control, what car, what track you put them on, they will spank ass. Like an Ungaro, like a Ronald, like a Mayfield, that's why all these guys are professionals and the top in the world. I'll never be there. I'm never going to be like that. I'm never even going to be a weekend racer or club racer. I am a basher. Don't get that twisted, people. And I appreciate all the comments that I got, positive comments that I got on the last video. People were telling me, oh, if you set it up this way or you do this, you'd be able to drive. Well, that ain't going to happen, because I'm not a racer and never will be a racer. It's just my point that you can be a basher, and every once in a while, if you want to go hit the track and run around and mess around and do some laps, then that's cool. Other than that, I don't care to get into it, because I don't have the time, first of all. And it is a little bit more expensive. I got enough going on with trying to do this in Fitzco. Which reminds me, not to get too far off subject, and we're going to get right into this. I only got 15 more minutes. I don't want to make this video more than 30 minutes. Maybe 45 minutes if I have to, since I'm not going to tie it into another video. So maybe I'll just give you guys a 40, we'll try to do 45 minutes, because we're going to open this engine up. We're going to take a look at this engine. We're going to go over a few things about it. I also want to cover an area that I did before, but a lot of people don't cover it, which is shocks. We're going to talk about shocks, oil. Most of it will pertain to bashing, but the information that I will give you, you can figure out how to make adjustments for racing. Truggy and buggies, my oils are the same. But anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted also to let you guys know the 5B, it's been taking me a long time. I remember, if you guys don't remember, and I'll remind you, when I got my 5B, I said I wasn't even going to build it till this year. I jumped the gun, and I just wanted to put it together right away, because it was kind of hard to spend all this money on something, and especially something that big, and not put it together. But I have kind of slowed down, and you guys know, people are like, hey, there's other people that have got theirs built, and I see people on Facebook that are, way ahead of me. I did build mine first, before anybody did, as far as a lot of us guys that are doing Nitro 2, before anybody. But the reason is because I'm spending the extra money on the engine. I'm spending the extra money and time on the pipe. I could have just got a Bartolone or a Jet Pro or Victory pipe, but I was highly influenced by Dan. Dan is the one at OBR that does most of the engine building. Sean is he's the owner. Okay, and he does some, but main head mechanic builder at OBR is Dan. I talked to Dan just a few days ago. I talked to him periodically, and we went over my setup for my OBR Signature Series engine. You guys already should know by now what I'm getting. I could have got any reed. I could have spent $600, $500, had my engine in it, been running it months ago. But I wanted to save the extra coin because I figure, like I told you on my 5B, I'm just going for it. I'm going balls deep. I'm not holding back. I've got all the goodies. I've even spent another $200, and we'll do an unboxing in a few days when it gets here, on more upgrades and more stuff for my 5B. I really don't need anything. I could have ran it stock out of the box. I am putting every bell and whistle available for the 5B. There will be nothing on my 5B that will almost be, that's upgradable that I didn't do. Aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, we're going all in. Okay, and that's the same way I'm going to do the engine. I could have got another reed and spent a lot less money, but I'm going to put out $1,000. I don't care. I don't mind throwing numbers out there. I'm not shy, and I'm not hiding any secrets. Remember, 100% real. I keep everything on my channel, for the most part. I try to keep it, and I'm human. I make mistakes, but I try to keep it 100% real. OBR 34 Signature Series, okay, fully modded. The crank's CNC, it's CNC balanced, it's DLC coded, it's got the upgraded bearings, it's got set up for the one over 100 octane on it. The carburetor is not a 990. 1242 is the best carburetor made for the 34 OBR Reed engines. Says who? Says Dan, the builder. He highly recommended it. Like I said, I called him and I asked him. He knows what I'm trying to achieve. He knows the background I come from. He knows what I built. He knows what I got. I told him I want all the power to the ground. Maybe I might race it here and there, but I'm a basher. I want all the power that 34 Reed is going to put out to the ground. I could have got a 9.4, 9.5 horsepower, other Reeds that are modded, but I wanted all of it. The engine that I will be putting in the 5B will be putting out close to 11 horsepower on the dyno. Like I said, I will be putting in my 5B the baddest OBR 34 Reed that there is to put in it. Because remember, unless you want to put the pipes on the outside and they look ugly and you risk damaging it, a 5B, low C 5B, the biggest engine you can put in is a 34. You can put in bigger engines, but like I said, you have to run the pipes on the outside of it, and it just looks lame, and you risk damaging the pipe if you crash it, okay? So, that's what I'm going to be doing with that engine. Also, the pipe I'm going to be getting is an Olamat. Olamat pipe is what Dan recommended. He said he said the Bartolones were good, and I said, I don't want what's good. I want to know from you. Dan is the professional. He races also. I said, you tell me, what is the best pipe to put on that engine, on a 34 OBR Reed? He said Olamat. Olamat is basically the Novorossi of 5th scale pipes. Does that mean Bartolones aren't good? Some people think they're the best. I'm just telling you what Dan told me. He said you can put a Bartolone on it if you don't want to wait for the Olamat. But if you want to wait, it's going to take a few weeks to get the Olamat. I'm telling you, it's the best pipe you can get. It's the creme de la creme. That's why I'm getting it. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not holding back. I'm putting all my eggs in my basket, which is my 5B. Okay, when you see this 5B, when you see this engine, when you actually see it running, hopefully from a few weeks from now, I'm targeting around the middle of March. Like I said, I'm in no hurry. Okay, I've got a lot of nitro to do. And I also had to look what needs more help from fellow RCers. 8 scale nitro or 5th scale? 5th scale is fine. 8 scale nitro is dead. Let's face it, people. Last year, 2020, killed nitro. A lot of companies went under, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better as far as racing and bashing. Worlds, there more than likely won't be no Worlds this year. Sucks. DNC, if it happens, will suck. Why? Because half of the best drivers in the world won't be there. Yeah, Tebow there. Yeah, Cavallari's going to be there. Yeah, Mayfield, Drake, Rivkin, Bornhorst, but Ongaro, Tessman, Ron Falk, Savoye, Barufalo, Elliott Boots, Battle. Those are some of the best drivers in the world. They won't be there this year. No bueno. But anyway, so I need to put more time into 8 scale nitro, and I got a lot of things I want to do. I got engines coming, more modded engines. I got 2 more platforms, and I will tell you this, and let's get into the shock thing, and then we're going to show the engine. I've been looking. I'm getting another 8 scale truggy, and I'm getting another 8 scale buggy. I might even run this one at the track tomorrow, the Mugen MBX7. I've got the Virtus in it, which is a badass engine, 7-port RCR modded Virtus, Novarosi. Okay, that is a bad mother also. Probably my 3 favorite 21 engines right now. This one, the Reds, and the P5. Those are the 3 baddest .21s I have. Triton's badass too, don't get me wrong, but it's still a 3-port. Can't replace displacement. It's not a 5 and it's not a 7, definitely. But anyway, I might even run both of my truggies tomorrow. Not sure if I want to get 2 truggies filthy, because that's just double the cleaning. I was even contemplating on running this body because I really don't want to mess this body. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is sick. I love this thing. I mean, I thought this was like some kind of sticker. That's chrome painting. Chrome paint. And then the skulls that are in here, man, this thing looks like, and look at, man, I mean, if I was going to get into racing, pulling up on the track with this bad boy, look at that. That's a techno, people. That ain't no TLR and, you know, anything like that. That's a techno right there, people. So, anyway, I don't even want to run this body because, like I said, I don't want to scratch it. I'll probably cry, but hey, that's what they're made for, right? They're made to run, rip it, bash it, crash it, smash it, whatever. But, yeah, so that's what's going on as far as getting you guys up to speed. Fit skill's coming, don't worry. I do want to get it going, but at the same time, I'm kind of pulling the reins back. There's a lot more to do in Nitro. I've got a lot on my plate. I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, so to speak, so we'll get to the 5B. It's coming. Don't worry. I just want to make sure when I launch that thing, it's going to be where I want it. All the baddest of the baddest, the goodies of the goodies, the engine that I want, the pipe that I want. Also, what I noticed, too, from others that have got the Bartolone on the 34 OBR reeds is that Bartolone pipe, from what I was told, it doesn't even design really for the 5T. I mean, for the 5B, it's designed for the 5T. Because on the Olamat, 1/5 RC, shout out to you, he's been helping me a lot. Shout out to Big John, he's been helping me a lot. And also shout out to my brother from another mother, Elite RC. Those guys run the Olamat pipe on their 5Bs. It doesn't go through the bottom. They didn't have to cut a hole in their side guards. It runs right where it should. So I was kind of tripped me out when I seen how the Bartolone goes on the 34 reed. Which definitely I'm not cutting no holes in my side guards. I don't want to cut any holes in I have to. And I know the Olamat pipe doesn't rub on the body. It fits perfectly, enough clearance, comes down, the stinger on it comes down where it's supposed to. So that's another reason I'm glad I didn't got a Bartolone, because I was going to get a Bartolone, because I really don't want to wait, you know, 2 to 3 weeks or whatever to get that pipe. But, you know, I'm going to do it because it's the best. And I don't want to have no, you know, mounting issues, and I got to do all these altercations. I put enough holes and stuff for ventilation in the 5B. Another thing on the 5B, those of you that have them, know or don't know, and this was by Elite, he told me do not cut out the window. Why? Because that thing is heavy, and when you flip it, you will damage the body. The body seems like it's really thick, but by cutting the window out, you're weakening it. I'm even worried because I put a lot of holes in it. If you guys seen mine already, I did a lot of holes for ventilation because you need ventilation. But Elite told me, because I was going to do that, he said do not cut out the window. He did that on his, and he wished he never would have did it. When he flipped it a couple times, it did, and eventually destroy the body and bust it. But yeah, it's only a $200 body or $150 body, so just get another one. Hell no, I am getting another one, but I want mine to last. So anyway, yeah, so we're going all out. We're going, like I said, we're not holding back anything on the 5B. I figure if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it all the way. Like I said, balls deep. But anyway, let me move this out of the way. Let's get into sharing a little bit of what I've learned in the last 10 years in Nitro. Hold on a minute. Charging batteries here, getting everything ready for tomorrow for the track. At least I know how that track is now. But I know it's going to be a lot different with a Chuggy. Hopefully it'll be easier to drive. That buggy was everywhere. And real quick, I get a lot of people asking me too the same question everybody gets asked. What are your favorite engines? Well, I already showed you. As far as my 21s, RCR modded, Virtus, badass. Okay, nasty engine. Reds, R5R. Okay, RCR modded, nasty. We call that the F1 engine because that thing screams like a F1. And these are some of my other engines' favorites. The P5, okay, the 28.8. This is the RCR modded. I actually have, we're also going to run the, we're going to get a little crazy here. We're going to run the TNS modded 28.8 Rex Legend in the Techno. And she is bash ready and ready to just rip some serious ass. So anyway, this one will be coming soon. What is that? Oh, snaps! Is that the Mugen MBX5 Pro Spec? With the upgraded Soar Seiki shocks on it, which by the way are 10 times better than the stock ones. Yep, got a brand new chassis for that. Finally found a chassis. Also, we found a brand new wheel center diff for the XTM Mammoth. So the XTM Mammoth ST, my muggy, I call it, will be running again because I will never, ever, ever, I don't care how old they are, I will never have shelf queens. The day I have shelf queens is the day I sell it. I'm not shitting anything on the shelf. I don't care if it's discontinued. I don't care if they don't make it anymore. I don't care. I'll run it every once in a while. I might not run it all the time, but I'll run it every once in a while. That's why we're going to fire up the MBX5, Mugen MBX5 Pro Spec buggy, and because I want to see how those shocks, because I've never ran those shocks yet. And like I said, I'm putting a new chassis on it. And we're going to run the XTM with a real center diff in it. We're going to beat the hell out of that thing like I did before. I've got like 4 of everything extra parts with that XTM, so I'm not afraid to bust it up. So, but anyway, this is what's on my plate. Some of the engines. This is a nasty mother right here, and you guys have just seen that not too long ago, and it's not even broken in. We know the P5's badass. This is the only, and this is everybody's got the speed run challenge and whose engines, I don't know, but I've got proof in video. Let me put this challenge out there. Who only .21, let me see if you got a .21 that can make your truggy stand up. And I'm not talking lift the front end, I'm talking stand up in the sky. This thing in the Mugen, on my video, go check it out, it pulled wheelies. A .21 modified. That's the only one I've seen on YouTube. Okay? So I don't ever seen anybody do that. Let me see anybody out there, show me a .21 modded, okay, stock modded, I don't care, whatever, pull wheelies on the front end, pull the front end or stand the truck straight up. It even did a backflip on that video with a .21. Yeah, do 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, whatever, great. That's E-word shit, okay? When I, you know, and that's cool to go fast every once in a while, but all these guys in the speedrun shit, that's E-word shit. There is bashers, we don't give a shit how fast it goes top end. We want stump pulling power, okay? If you're a true basher, that's the question. You want stump pulling bottom mid torque engine. You want to put it in your buggy, put it in your truggy. By the way, the Reds also did wheelies. .21 Reds, R5R, RCR modded, pulled wheelies and did flips. Okay, like not pull the front end up, complete stand-up wheelies in my MP9 TKI4 Spec A buggy. So I've got two 21s, buggy and truggy, in a buggy and truggy that pulled wheelies. I don't see anybody else out there on YouTube that has any .21s shown on video filming footage of them standing straight up. Not your little hovering the wheelie or your, you know, little hover or something, you know, your little whatever. I'm talking front bumper facing the moon. Okay? Let me see it. I haven't seen it. As far as I know, I can say I have two of the baddest .21s ever filmed on YouTube, because I'm the only one that has two .21s that have been in truggies and buggies pulling the wheelies. Now, How fast? Well, we'll get to the speed run thing. I'm probably going to invest in a speedometer just to shut people up. Okay, but I really don't care about the speed thing because I'm a basher. Speed, top end, that's for E-word people. That's why they got 6S, 8S, and all that, because they want to see how fast they go. And that's funny. E-word people always ask that first question to any Nitro guy they see. How fast does it go? You know what I tell them? Fast enough. What kind of vehicle is that one? A badass vehicle, that's what kind. And then I just drop the mic and walk away. But anyway, yeah, so, you know, yeah, your speed run, oh, you're fast. So what is that? You're just fast? So what? Let me see what the power is on that thing. Bashers, we care about power to the ground, or we wouldn't be running 100K in the middle and 50 or 60 on the front and rear. Right? Right. So, anyway, so until I see somebody has a .21 in a buggy and truggy on film, pull stand-up wheelies and backflips, okay, I have, and I could say, bragging rights of the baddest .21s. If you want to see a .21 break 55, 60, okay. Doesn't do much for me, but if that's what you want, then we'll get to that bridge when the time comes. So, anyway. Let's talk about shocks real quick while I'm opening up this engine. Okay, now, there's not a lot to shocks, and I don't want to get it all complicated because I hear people explain all the, you know, geometrics and physics and everything to shocks. Listen, when it comes to shocks, okay, shock oil. Let me just explain to you shock oil. Okay, shock oil. Can you guys see that down in there? Let me get you guys closer. Okay, so when it comes to shock oil, okay, lighter shock oil will increase traction and be better in the bumps. Okay, you guys follow me? Let me repeat that again. Lighter shock oil will increase traction and better in the bumps. Now this doesn't really pertain to, some of this will pertain to bashing and some will pertain to racing. You guys got to learn to differentiate. Is that a word? Am I saying that right? Or did I make it up? Differentiate. Okay, differentiate the difference. Okay, what the difference is. But lighter shock oil will increase traction and be better in the bumps. It will have more overall traction, okay, and be more responsive. Okay, you guys following me? You guys still with me? Anybody snoring there already? Falling asleep? Falling asleep at the wheels? Muggy putting you to sleep? Okay, now thicker oil, okay, will have less traction and be less responsive when changing directions, turning, steering, so forth. On a high bite, smooth track, thicker oil is easier to drive, okay? Just make sure you adjust the oil when there is a drastic temperature change. So, okay. Pretty basic. I don't need to make it all rock, because I hear people, and that's the one thing that me and, you know, Nitro Nerd used to get in. He was very technical, and for us guys that have been around, we like that. But at the same time, for a newbie, it's really confusing when you're giving them all these mumbo-jumbo words, and, you know, you need a freaking translator to tell you, you know, what you just said. You know, English. Speak English. So, you notice that? That's what I'm saying. See, I had to Dermolo that little piece out of there. But anyway, so when the temperatures change, this is another thing too. And like I said, this is for racing mostly right here. Okay. Plus or minus 20 degrees. So if it gets cold outside, go to lighter shock oil. If it gets hot, go to thicker oil. Okay. That's pretty basic. So there you go. There's your oil thing. And the bashing, I don't know race setups. Okay, I've heard a bit different ones. Like I said, if I was going to get heavy into racing, I'd obviously have to do my homework. But I'm not. But in bashing, we want all the power to the ground. And we jump a lot. So when we're jumping a lot, Most of it is, we want it thicker. So I run 40 to 45 on my truggies and buggies, and 50 in the rear. I think I run the same on my truggies and buggies. Don't quote me on that. But whatever, you get a feel for it. It depends. If you're jumping off roofs, then obviously you want pretty thick oil. When you're bashing, you want it, whatever works for you. Whatever floats your boat. That's just kind of a, I know a lot of people, like I said, I use Losi. Some people use Associated. I think they're both really good. Matter of fact, since I got this engine open, this is the first time me opening this engine, people. This engine I've never opened it since I got it. I wasn't sure if I was even going to open it. But I'm like, why not? I want to see especially when I heard Adam Drake say that they put these studs like this. Okay. You see I had a Dremel, a little notch in it. They obviously don't want you in here for some reason. Now I noticed in the head, I've never seen ventilations. Almost like these, I don't know if my other engines, because if you look at this head is milled out. It comes down. Okay. Similar to the Virtus, the Mito 7, I think the Benito, the Mephisto, some of the higher end Novarosi, I think the P5 as well. Some of the higher Novarosi .21 engines have that. Okay, so what are we, 37 minutes? Okay. Now next on your shocks, springs. Let's talk about springs. I really go with the stock springs. I've never really, and especially because you have the spring adjustments, the little collars on them where you turn. But stiffer front springs will support the front of the vehicle better and have less steering. Okay, softer front springs will roll more and increase steering. Stiffer rear springs will have more support but decrease rear traction on the exit of the like the exit of a turn when you're coming out of a turn. Softer rear springs will have more initial grip and forward traction. Okay, on high grip tracks, running stiffer and rear springs will have more corner speed and increased stability. On low grip tracks, softer springs front and rear to increase the overall grip of the vehicle and improve handling in bumps. Now, if you guys race, that obviously that's something that you will learn depending on the track and everything like that. Now, if you're wondering, it sounds like I'm reading on a off of a script. This information that I'm reading you is coming from Team Mugen. So this is what Adam Drake, Ryan Mayfield, Robert Battier, this is what these guys go by. Okay, so if you're wondering if I just made this up or pulled it off some forum on the internet, I didn't. This is coming from Mugen, Team Mugen. Okay, here you go. Look, Team Mugen. You guys can get this www.mugen printed out. It's good to have. It gives you a lot of cool information. I've went over it and learned a lot of stuff from it. Now, another thing we'll talk about real quick, and then I'll start explaining this engine as I'm taking it apart here. Pistons. Pistons, shocks, probably besides the clutch, I would say the three most technical things in a Nitro is shocks, diffs, and clutch. Because of the components and all the moving parts are probably the most, I used to think probably would say that shocks are one of the most technical because, you're talking about shock oil weight, pistons, different types of pistons. Some of the piston holes don't go straight down. They go in an angle to slow down the oil. Teeny, I think it's called teeny or tiny. I always say tinny. Tinny, I don't know if I'm pronouncing right. Tinny coated, which is that gold colored stuff. That's a coating around it's on the shock shafts. That stuff you can mess with to make them smoother. It's just, there's a lot to the shocks when you get into it. When I was racing 110 RC, that's one thing that I did get pretty good at. And I rebuilt and took apart and changed shocks so much because that's, a lot of how your vehicle, whether it handles decent or not. If it's your shocks are, you know, not set up good, or they're not, because I've worked on so many vehicles, and I, you know, because you guys know I have my little, or don't know, if you don't know, I have on Facebook, you can go look, I have a 1/8 Nitro RC little thing on the side where I help people out for, you know, a feasible price and work on it. And to be honest with you, I work on a lot of old stuff. Nobody hardly brings me any race kits and say, here, can you do this, can you do that. One guy I had, he brought me a Mugen, and another guy brought me a 3.0 Losi. But other than that, I work with a lot of RTRs, a lot of monster trucks, a lot of Savages, and tons of Traxxas, man. I charge extra for Traxxas, and I tell them. Just because they're a pain in the ass to work on. And Savage. If anybody has Savage, you know what I'm talking about. You got to take the whole damn thing apart and disassemble it to even work on it. No bueno. Okay, so anyway, so pistons. Moving the shocks, or pistons, more pack or smaller holes on your shocks require, let me read that again. Okay, more pack or smaller holes require light oil and have slower weight transfer, less responsive, and will land large jumps better. Okay, again, more pack or smaller holes in your pistons, which is the round piece inside, okay, require lighter oil and have slower weight transfer, less responsive, and will land large jumps better. Less pack or larger holes in your pistons require heavier oil and have more weight transfer, increased traction, and more responsive and absorb bumps better. Okay, I don't know if you guys got all that, but that's pretty much in a nutshell. Pistons can get technical. I mean, different holes. Like I said, some of the holes are drilled in an angle. Some of them are made out of different materials. It's like I said, shocks can get pretty tricky. So I'm trying to keep it as, you know, and this Mugen manual deal is pretty cool because it keeps it basic. It doesn't get too technical where newbie's going to be like, huh? Scratching his head. Okay, now let's talk about shock location. Now, shock location probably pertains more to the basher than everything. Okay, just remember this. The more your shocks are angled out, the better they are for handling and cornering. Okay, but not as good for when you're jumping. Okay, the straighter up and down your shocks are, angled in, you know, more straight up and down. Okay, the better for landing and jumping, but handling is and so you're going to try to find a happy medium. But this is what they say Mugen, Team Mugen says, okay? Moving the shocks in on the tower, which is the upper part, will have softer initial dampening, less responsive, and be more forgiving. Okay, again, moving the shocks inward on the tower, on the shock tower, will have softer initial dampening, less responsive, and be more forgiving. Moving the shocks out on the tower, which moving the top part out on the tower, will make the car more responsive, jumps better, and will be better on technical tracks. Okay? Moving the shocks in on the bottom part where they mount to the arms, moving them in more, okay, will make the suspension softer and increase grip. Again, like I said, better for cornering, turning, and all that. The outside holes on the bottom of the shocks where they mount to the arms will be more stable and easier to drive. So there you go. That's about all I got to say about shocks. If you want any more information on that, Jared Tebow, Ty Tessman, Adam Drake, Ryan Lutz, those guys have videos on them. David Ronafalk has it too. So anyway, this is what it looks like on the inside. Now, first of all, the bearings on here are ceramic. So there is ceramic bearings, and I'm checking them. When you check them, there's no grit, nice and buttery smooth. That's what you want. If it's rough, clean them or replace them. but these are fine. So again, I've never seen all these holes up here on the top. Kind of crazy. They're ceramic bearings, and I can't tell if the inside has any kind of block work done to it. I mean, anything on the inside. It's in pretty good shape. Adam takes care of his engines, like he states. No lie. And I keep up on them too. I only ran this thing once, and you guys seen it on video. So that's there. Not much to look at. Now, whether this is the actual original block that came on this Drake engine, have no idea. Some say yay, some say nay. But it doesn't matter. Remember, the reason that I bought this engine is because, not just because it's an Adam Drake, let's just say the head, but right there, people. That's what makes it worth all its weight. Signed by Rhonda and Adam. Okay. Now, as far as the crank, this looks like it had some work done to it. This doesn't look like a stock crank, if you guys are looking at that. And another thing, I've never seen a crank say that on there. Do you guys see that? It says tuned. See it right there? Tuned. I've never seen a Novorossi crank say tuned. You can tell there was some work done to it. That doesn't look stock. Tell where the cuts are. Look at the side right there. 2014, I believe. 2614. So, looks like there's been some work there. That looks stock. So that's that. Piston, piston looks kind of weird. It has like it had some kind of, either it's the fuel that he used. It's an R7 like most of them. Doesn't look anything special. That piston, look at that piston. Looks pretty fresh. Now, what I was told, that this was Rhonda said this was his practice engine. This was a practice engine that he used. Like I said, it says on the box, Silk Cross 2016. One thing I noticed on the sleeve, pretty bone stock. I don't see, there's like a little fang right there. Maybe a little there, but pretty much stock. Not much done to it. Still pretty clean. This engine's still, now he could have repinched it. I don't know, I didn't ask him. But, oh, that thing is like, that's what I hate sometimes when the button head sticks to the top of the sleeve. It's still pretty tight. It's very tight, so he might have repinched it. I don't know. But anyway, there you go. The only thing I can see that had some work done to it, but look check inside there. I might send it in to Lance, have him do a crank fill on it, and maybe do a little bit of timing tweak. Why not? I don't know. Or maybe I just might leave it. Well, a lot of people say just leave it. Makes it worth more in value. This engine was factory modified for Adam Drake, and he ran it. Whether he practiced with it or whatever, he ran this engine, and then, more importantly, Adam Drake and his wife signed it, and they signed the inside of the box too. So, all right, people. Well, there it is. A little info, a little wrenching, a little inside the Adam Drake engine. That's what's going on with the Muggy. There's a final. I went over 5 minutes already. There's another hour. That ought to keep you guys busy until the next video, probably later at the end of the week, after I get done running at the track tomorrow, and then do the editing and whatever. Maybe hopefully do another hour of Revelations track. But that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. Lots more to come. Oh, one other thing. Like I said, I'm looking for another truggy and buggy. And let me tell you guys this. 3 truggy and buggies, I don't recommend. I don't care if you race them or bash them. Because of parts support. Sucks balls. X-ray. And this is what I found out because I had a lot of great deals on the table to pick up a new X-ray, truggy or buggy, an S-Works, and a hot bodies. The reason I didn't pull the trigger on it because the parts support, which means availability of parts, no bueno. Sucks huge elephant nuts. So I don't recommend purchasing, unless it comes with tons of extra parts, or you can find them. I can't, and trust me, I'm the Indiana Jones archaeologist of 8-scale nitro when it comes to finding shit. I've been doing this long enough, and if I can't find it, it doesn't exist. It's not out there. Trust me, okay? And I'm not just saying that to toot my horn. That's real talk, okay? But anyway, I don't recommend hot bodies, I don't recommend X-Ray, and I don't recommend S-Works. All three of those vehicles are badass, top-notch, awesome race kits, and would probably be good for bashing, but as far as their part support and the availability and pricing, sucks huge rhinoceros nuts. Do not recommend it. Okay, so stick to the others: Associated, TLR, Kyosho, Techno, and Mugen. Those 5 manufacturers, I think that's 5, have unbelievable part support, tons of parts out there, decent prices. If you come across those for a good deal, get them, and I highly recommend them. But those other 3, thumbs down from the Muggy. You do what you want. Some people might not like it because you guys have them, but that's as real. That's real, bro. And I'm telling you that from me looking over the last week or 2. Okay, I mean hardcore, hitting the laptop, internet, everywhere, overseas, all over this world, all over this planet. Hot bodies, X-Ray, and S-Works part support sucks ass. So anyway, that's the last thing. That's my food for thought. Stay tuned. By the way, also shout out to Keenan White, Lefty the Great. He's using me on his podcast. He's doing voice notes of me talking smack. JQ likes it too. Shout out to TNR Fuels. That fuel's doing good, doing well. There'll be more testing of it tomorrow. And then, I've got engines that have had it setting in there for a week now, and we'll see what they look like when we open it up again. But so far as the tuning, as far as the oil package in it, all that, great fuel. Hopefully it comes to your neighborhood near you. Get some of that TNR fuel. Why? Because your engines deserve to be happy. And when they run that fuel, they're happy. All right, people. That's all the Muggy's got. I'm out. Peace.